pass it over to the ladies today. They'll introduce themselves and welcome you. Thank you for being here. And I'll go ahead and turn my camera off and pass it over to the ladies, Frances, Rashmi, Eleni, and Christine.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Frances Gonzalez. I am co-president of President's Council. And Rashmi, do you want to?
Hi, yes, I'm sorry. See, I got lost. Sorry.
Well, this is
All right.
Rashmi. She's the other co-president. And we have Eleni. Eleni, you want to say a few words?
Sure. Hold on. Let me get my speech because I wrote it down because I don't want to start
Introduce yourself.
Oh my God, you guys are-
fumbling. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining our meeting tonight. My name is Eleni Livadidis, and I am the recording secretary for District 25 President Council for the 2020 and 21 year. I am also the PTA co-president of PS 193, along with Tiffany Diamond for the last 2 years. This is my first year on the District 25 President Council and my 9th year as a PTA member. I have 2 sons, one in 8th grade at Junior High School 194 and one in 5th grade at PS 193. I'm looking forward to working with the new board, Superintendent Domingo and Esther Maturo. Also, a thank you to Luis Lolito for all your help. Thank you, everybody.
And Christine.
Wow, I have to follow that.
Sorry.
No, that was such an amazing speech. All I have is I'm Christine. I'm the treasurer. I'm also the PTA president at 194. I look forward to working with everybody and learning together. Thank you, everybody. Esther, Mr. Mango, and Louis for always being by our side. That's it.
Okay. I guess
I just want to back. I also want to thank the previous board for all their assistance and help. Christine, Laura, Athena, myself, and Christine are now still on the board. We were part of that previous board, so I wanted to say thank you also to Domingo for always helping us, and Esther and Louis. Thank you so much for the help that you're going to continue to give us. So, and we want to welcome everyone for coming. We appreciate you coming to these meetings. We're here to gather information and all work together. I do want to play a little introduction game. When you do speak, it helps us to remember the names. It's a little icebreaker. So to remember my name, you would have to say, I'm going to say something that describes me with the same initial that starts my first name. So I am Fabulous Frances. So I'll have my board introduce themselves like that, and hopefully we can remember. And when you speak, please introduce yourself like that so we can remember you and know something about you. Rashmi?
Okay. So hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Good evening, Ms. Domingo. Thank you so much for always helping and supporting us, and Esther and Louis, as always. I would call myself R square, which is RR, which is respectful Rashmi. And then my name is like, don't rush me, just don't say the word don't, and it's rush me. So I am here because of you and for you. We all are here. We are going to guide each other and help each other, and we'll make our district with 100% parent engagement. I'm excited to work with Frances, Christine, and Eleni, and just love being on this in this team. Thank you.
Christine?
Okay, I'm charismatic Christine. I don't have anything else.
That's good. We'll remember that. Eleni?
I'm going to say eccentric, Eleni.
Nice.
I like that.
Esther? I think Esther went. At this time, I'm going to introduce the superintendent for her report. Mr. Mango, you
Wait,
ready?
you guys didn't hear me. Sorry, am I on mute?
Oh, go ahead, Esther.
I don't know. I said extraordinary. I don't know what's an E, you know?
Wow,
I
fancy.
like that.
That's
I
nice.
like that.
Very nice. Okay,
Well,
Mr. Mango, you go.
Oh, okay, I have to say that. So I am dashing Danielle, dashing Domingo. I don't know. All right, I just want to pull up my notes really quickly. I had my daughter text them to me because I'm in my office tonight. I'm so excited. I'm the only one at Linden Place, so. So I want to congratulate everyone, especially our new board members tonight. And as I had said at the CEC meeting, I want to thank our outgoing board members. It's as I'm starting my 10th year, it's always a pleasure to work with parents and families. And I want to thank our parent volunteers who are always there to support our offices, but also, you know, all of you as parent leaders across the district. So I'm really excited to continue our work. I want to start by saying some really positive things because I think in terms of the pandemic, we hear so many scary and negative things. And I just want to talk about how I value the work that's happening in our schools. And we're just going to continue to move onward and upward to make sure that our students and our families are supported in the best way that they can. I want to thank all our new PTA members, our PTA presidents, and welcome you to President's Council. And just to let you know that you're in good hands and you can ask anyone on your board questions or for support, but you can also always call our office. Esther is here to support each and every one of you. And before the end of the night, I'm sure she'll give you her information if you do not have it. All right, so first thing, I received recognitions awards from the state. And I know that many of you know this, that every year our schools receive recognition from the state for our high performance and educational excellence. So I just want to go up and name all of our schools that are state recognition schools. PS 20, PS IS 499, PS 244, IS 237. PS 214, PS 209, Junior High School 185, PS 184. Christine, am I going too fast? You got, you're writing real down, am I good?
Elaine's your treasurer.
Oh, well, no.
Elaine's your secretary.
Oh, Elaine, am I going too
Yeah,
fast?
yeah.
Okay, okay. PS 163, PS 130, PS 120, PS 79, PS 32. See how many schools are recognition schools in the state? We're awesome. PS 29, IS 25, PS 24, PS 22, PS 21, and I had announced PS 20 earlier. This, I want to congratulate you parents and your children for this hard work, but I also want to thank our teachers and our administrators that help contribute to the success of your students. So congratulations, everyone. We have a lot to be thankful for and to celebrate as a district. Yay! Okay. So first thing I want to talk about is mandatory testing, and I want to thank all of our parent leaders for supporting us in this. As everyone knows, our mandatory testing, and as of last week, all of our schools have been tested at least one time. We do have many schools that are in the governor's yellow zone, and at those schools, students are tested once per week. Hold on, I just gotta make this a little bit bigger. So we are encouraging all families, especially those in the yellow zones, to update their permission slips. You can update your permission slips on your My Schools account, or you can ask for a paper copy from your school. You could call the office and ask anyone from the office to mail it to you, or your parent coordinator. It is really important because the original permission slips only said testing once per month, because that was originally what the DOE was doing. But when the governor released the yellow zones, we were told we had to do it once a week. So the only difference in the permission slip and the consent forms is that it goes from once a month And then there's another statement that says, unless you're in the yellow zone, and therefore you'll be tested once a week. So we really need those in order to complete our testing. So if you have any questions about logging in and how to change it, it is one click. I actually did it with a parent myself. You can call and ask your parent coordinator and they can help you to do that. Okay, so next month, and I will also be doing this for you too, if Francis and Rashmi and the rest of the board agree, I'm going to, both Dr. Mike and I are going to be presenting the state of the district at our next CEC meeting. But I wanted to, as I said at our CEC meeting, give you some updates on some of the things that are happening at our school that I'm really excited about. So last week we finalized a collaboration with Apple. And we have worked with them in the past. We're offering our elementary and middle schools 12 weeks of professional learning through Apple, focused on student engagement and rich task design in both the blended and fully remote learning models. So we're really excited about that. Our teachers were excited about that, and we're going to continue to that through that work. We started our parent chats this month. They've been really informative. I just attended one last Friday on chronic absenteeism. And I can't tell you that, I don't know why I didn't do these sooner. I really think that they're amazing. And I also believe that a really positive thing about this pandemic is it has opened up community and relationships in different ways. And at every parent chat that I sit in, I learn more and more about what I need to do in order to be a better educator. It's really hard for me sometimes in the parent chat not to involve myself. The other day, I actually intervened as a parent. I was like, I'm speaking as a parent right now. So we have trained all of our parent coordinators to participate in these parent chats under questions that you guys might feel are necessary at your school. So the 3 schools that engaged in the parent chat, which was PS 200, PS 201, and PS 154, they talked about chronic absenteeism and the importance of families working together with schools to make sure that our students are logging on and learning, and what are some of the things that the school could be doing better in order to help facilitate that, and what are some of the things that parents need to do to support their students and each other, other parents, to help encourage that, right? Our kids are in a different learning environment right now. It's difficult for them to kind of get up out of bed and be in their pajamas and log on for learning, right? So together we're going to start talking about ways that we can do this as a community to make these experiences better for our children. So I encourage you, if your parent coordinator talks to you about this, to announce this at your PTA meetings, to encourage parents to participate, because now more than ever, you will have a seat at the table around policy, right? This is not just about, us asking questions or talking to you about guidelines and things that are coming from the state and curriculum. You are seeing what happens, right? We need to hear from you around when and where your students are learning best. What are some of their positive reactions to online learning? We don't see that, right? You see more of students' responses to instruction for our remote learners and students learning on the blended side of the remote side of the blended model than actually teachers do, right? So we need to hear from you. So I really do encourage you to participate in these chats, and I'm just loving them, just so you know. Francis, I know that you participated in last month's, and Dr. Mike will be sending out our meeting dates in a couple of days. So, and then we will further discuss what our next learning question will be for the district. So, okay.
Christine also participated.
Oh, yes. Is Christine there? Is Christine
Yes.
here tonight? Okay, yes, Christine too. She will. So we are first building capacity in, in working with parent chats. And then what we're going to do is we're going to invite other parents to observe the parent chat. So not everybody, unfortunately, will have an opportunity to speak. But at the school level, one of the things that we're encouraging PTAs to do is select parents that are willing to participate in the parent chats to speak on your behalf. Right. So we're going to present a question that a school might think is important and necessary. And then as part of your PTA meeting, you can have your parent representatives kind of get feedback from you as to what to speak about, right? So, and I'll give you an example of something that I thought was really great. At our last parent chat on chronic absenteeism, one of the parents was saying, like, I hate getting those letters from the school talking about, you know, my child being absent so much, right? It's in bold, it's in red, you know, it doesn't make me feel warm and welcome, and I don't want to call you to talk about it. So that was a real interesting perspective for us to see, because like we create these letters out of concern, but we didn't realize how a reader might perceive it, right? And somebody actually receiving the letter. So one of the things that we committed to at the end of that meeting was changing that letter. Another thing that we committed to was sort of creating systems in our school where we can contact students that may not be logging on, albeit teachers, guidance counselors, other people in the school, to call kids and tell them that we miss them and we want to see them. So we weren't necessarily thinking about that. And all of that was parent generated. So I really do think it's important for us to continue this work, to continue to hear from you. And so we're hoping that PTAs can support us in getting parent volunteers. Okay. Next, we are currently doing curriculum reviews and discussions with principals. This month, Dr. D'Antona and I, and we're actually almost done, I think we have 10 more left. We're meeting one-on-one with principals who in turn will be meeting with their instructional leadership teams, staff, and communities to take a closer look at curriculum and the cohesiveness within the remote and blended learning models. We'll be reviewing curriculum in each content area to ensure three things. Is it shared, meaning does every teacher have access to it? Is it shared with students and parents, and what should that look like? Another thing we might want to hear from you. I know as a parent, I don't need to see the entire curriculum, but what aspects of the curriculum can help me help my child? Is it inclusive? Does it include all different types of learning needs? Are our classroom libraries diversified? Do we address a variety of cultures? And is it digitally accessible? And what does that mean across each school? So we've been having those conversations. What we really have pushed for as a starting place, because this whole idea of digital curriculum and digital teaching and learning is something that will continue to evolve. And I say to parents, our teachers have done some really amazing things. And I had started in a conversation during the Apple training where I said, we've been talking about going digital for 20 years, and we asked teachers to do it in 20 days. And they all did. So, so we are going to continue to grow and support our teachers in this area to get better for our students. So once again, we need to hear you guys around that work. Attendance. So I had said that we just did a parent chat, but the district has been focusing very closely with our school CASE teams, which are cultural attendance, social emotional teams, to ensure student engagement is a priority, and this includes attendance. So we have teams at each school, and they're working to help support our students to make sure that attendance is a priority. Once again, something that we're going to need from you guys. We really need help from you around understanding when and why students are engaged and when and why they're not, right? That will help us make decisions alongside you to make sure that students are logging in and learning when they're online, and ready to learn if they're in our school buildings. And finally, family income inquiry forms, AKA, actually not finally, I have one more thing, AKA school lunch forms. So in order to maximize Title I funding, and I know many of you guys know this as parent leaders, it is really important that we fill out these inquiry forms. These inquiry forms help our schools get the Title I money necessary in order to provide our students with different types of learning experiences, such as after-school programs, such as technology. So it is really important for parents to fill out these forms. We have to have a certain percentage of families that fall within a certain criteria every year. in order to be eligible for Title I funding. And every year, many of our schools are on the brink of losing that. So I know, and I see Deborah Rico here, PS 32 lost their Title I funding, and it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. So if you could, at your meetings, remind our parents to fill out the family income inquiry forms. It is really important for funding in our schools. Okay. And finally, you know, the opt-in window ended on Sunday. You'll be hearing from many of our schools just around next steps in that, but there is also, and I'm open to discuss any questions that you may have around what the mayor is saying in terms of the 3% threshold by which schools will be closing. As many of you know, we have been very close to that threshold. So I do say, as parent leaders, you should watch that very carefully. I'm also going to say to all of you, our principals have done an amazing job in making sure that we are ready to go fully remote. That is something that we've been speaking about since September, and they have done a tremendous job in working with their teachers to make sure that at any time we can go fully remote. That being said, we do have a lot of schools that have had reported cases, and therefore either classrooms are closed, but today many of our schools have closed for a 24-hour period for investigation. So for those of you who are here tonight, you know, PS 21 has closed, PS 29 will be closed tomorrow, and IS 25 will be closed tomorrow as well. So Dr. D'Antona, did I miss any? I know you're here in the background. Just want to make sure I
No, you got it.
got it all. Okay. So that is for the 24-hour period, but we also have other schools where classrooms, individual classrooms have been closed and students and teachers have been quarantined for 14 days. That includes MS 379 and IS 250. So I will open it up for questions, and at this time, if there's anyone that has any questions.
Oh, there's a comment here. Welcome everyone, but I want to welcome John because he wrote in the chat. So welcome, John.
Hi, John.
It's good to see, you know, dads participate in the PTA. It's very important to get a different perspective. So I applaud you. Thank you. And for all the dads out there, and of course the moms who always are showing up. There is something, Desiree, she's just said a comment. A lot of parents were very upset about the opt-in window changing into one and done.
Okay, so I don't see that. So read it to me again, Francis. I'm sorry.
She's saying a lot of parents were very upset about the opt-in window changing into one and just like one option and
Yeah.
not.
So that has been escalated from the district to central. And Rashmi, I don't know if you want to speak about the CEC's meeting last Thursday.
Sure. So Desiree, last Thursday, CEC did pass with vote from parents and public, the vote of no confidence. And we did talk about this particular subject, and I'll be happy to forward you that document if you provide me your email address, because it is a public document where we as parents from District 25, we are saying that to the chancellor that your decision to have one open window for opt-in is not acceptable to parents, and you could have done a better job and give us more options. So there was a document, there was a vote of no confidence passed last week. Am I correct? Did I summarize that correctly, Mr. Mango?
Yes. Louis, did you have it? Can you put it in the chat? Yeah, I think Louis might be able to put it in the chat for everyone to see.
I have it. I'll put it in the chat right now.
Put it in the chat. So it was also a vote of no confidence in a resolution, and it's focused exactly what Rashmi said, based on the voice of the families in our community, Desiree, just representing you and as part of what CEC does, sending that to the mayor and the chancellor, basically talking about how that they were originally promised a certain number of opt-in and now that was taken away. So
and you know, Desiree, it's amongst the whole district, so all around the city that feel that way, and so letters are going out, and hopefully we can get some type of change soon. Thank you for your comment. Clarissa Wong is asking, can you provide more details about the collaboration with Apple?
Yes, so for right now, Apple is, they have actually engaged in professional learning for our teachers for the past 7 or 8 years. We have in our district 4 Apple distinguished schools where the professional learning that comes directly from Apple is provided free for those schools in our district. What we've been able to do is work with them to provide it to all of the schools in our district. And they are really asking teachers to rethink what learning should look like in a virtual setting. The reason why we're very excited to be working with them is that they firsthand have done research and have experiences in working globally with a lot of schools in the USA and in other countries, just around how to begin this work. And so we are really on the forefront of it. A lot of different districts are really trying to figure out and work together around what virtual learning really should look like. So the first thing that we worked with Apple on is our areas of focus, which is around student engagement in virtual learning and what that looks like. How do you engage students when they're logging on, right? And what we do know is that we can't teach them the way that we always taught them because they won't respond the same way. And the second thing is, one of the ways to do that is to provide students with different learning experiences through learning tasks and projects. So, so that's really where we're starting. And then after every other session, we're going to get together and really talk about ways that we can build upon that and what it looks like.
Thank you, Danielle. Now that we mentioned the word Apple, I want to remind that the Big Apple Awards are out there, and the teachers, like you said, they're working so hard. I know I nominated my teacher. She's been fabulous, especially with the mental health with the kids. I have to say, I represent 209 because that's the school I go to, and they're doing a great job. I see the kids so happy, and during this pandemic is very hard to see. And you see that when you pick them up and drop them off. So I think that, you know, if you have a teacher that's going above and beyond, please acknowledge them and go to the Big Apple Awards. They're taking nominations now. And I think that would be a good thing for our district to show the phenomenal teachers that we have.
But Francis, Lewis just put the link in there for parents if they want to.
Anybody can nominate a teacher. All you have to do is go to the link that Lewis put on the chat. And anybody that has children that attend District 25 or any other district could go ahead and nominate a teacher.
Yes, and I also want to mention, I know you mentioned the Title I. There's after-school programs as well that are going to lose funding if parents don't sign the applications. So I'm asking parents, whether you use the program or talk to your school, some of these programs are virtually. Please, you know, sign them up, or the school might lose them, and there are children who really need it. So it's the same, almost the same idea as the Title I funding. And I have a question for you, Mr. Mango. With the parent chats, I'm really liking the conversations. I get to see what other parents are going through. Is there a possibility to extend that to student chats?
Actually, we are. So we've just scheduled them, and we are seeking for student representatives from principals. We just announced that at the last principal meeting.
I'd be curious to see how their perspective on this. Here's another question from Antonella Jolia. I apologize if I didn't say your name correctly. Parents have been asking about contact tracing across classrooms and schools. If a student at one school has to quarantine, why are their siblings still attending school?
So because it's one of the things that Test and Trace does is they look at the actual person who tests positive. And we have actually asked a very similar question. But as of right now, they're basically saying that it's only the person and anyone that's been next to them in schools. But I know exactly what you guys are saying. We'll continue to push that forward and talk about siblings quarantining as well. But I will say this, every day a student needs to take the survey in order to come to school. And as parents, if you have someone in your home that tests positive for COVID, their siblings should also be failing that test, because the first question is, have you been exposed to someone in the last 14 days who has tested positive for COVID? So, so that is actually something that I know that principals and other staff members have been reaching out to those families that say, if you have a positive member in your family, you should not be passing those surveys in order to come to school for 14 days. So technically, parents should be quarantining those other students as well.
Thank you, Danielle. I posted that if you have any questions, you can write it in the chat or you can raise your hand to speak. I don't see any questions right now. We're going to be tabling our minutes. This is our first meeting. So we'll have some minutes for you at the next meeting. In the meantime, are you done with your report, Danielle, or
Yep,
you still
yep.
have?
No, I'm done.
Thank you so much. I think Louis had wanted to present something.
He's gonna do it at
accumulated
the
many
end, Francis.
questions.
Francis, he's
Well-
gonna do it at the end.
Oh, he's gonna do that at the end. Okay, so at this time, we're gonna talk about our bylaws.
Yep.
And
And
that-
Francis, just so you know, I'm only allowed to stay here until 7:30. So at 7:30, I have to hop off.
Okay, so does
They're keeping
anybody
me
have
out of the
any
building.
So we'll hold questions for you. If they don't come in the chat, until
Okay.
7:30.
And
So
if you have any questions for the superintendent, you guys can always email me and I'll get you the answer. I'll go ahead and put my email in the chat so you guys could go ahead and have it. I know that there's a lot of new faces. Thank you for stepping up and becoming the president or co-president or the designee for your school. We really appreciate it. Remember that the school needs to be in compliance, and because of you, each schools in District 25 are in compliance. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and put, for the new people, go ahead and put my email address, and you're welcome to email me if you have a question for President's Council, for the superintendent, and I get back to you with the answer as soon as possible.
right now, we also put our email in there as well. I'm gonna put it in
Do you
again.
want us to put it again? I can put
But
it
just so
again.
the new parents know really quick, when you have a question and you send it to me, the way I have done it for the last 10 years is I loop in President's Council, and together collectively, we give you the answer. Should we not have the answer, we go to the superintendent. And then, you know, I always loop her in also and let her know so that we make sure that we're giving you the right answer. Remember, we follow Chancellor's regulation and your school bylaws. But if you have any questions, I always share with President's Council so that we're aware. And then lately, I've been sharing, I turnkey those questions at President's Council so that we can all learn from it. So once you start giving me questions at the next meetings, I'll go ahead and share. I do not say names or I'm sorry, I don't have my camera on. Sorry about that. I do not share names or the school. I just share the question and the scenario. And then that way we all learn from that question. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, thank you, Esther. Just for the next five minutes, I just wanna, because I see a lot of new faces, and I just want to hear from you and for everyone to know you. So if you'd like, you can unmute yourself, introduce yourself, tell us what school you're from and what you expect to learn here at President's Council.
Go ahead, John. Yeah.
Hi. Hi. Good evening, everyone. So my name is John Kumper. I'm a brand new president at PS 165Q.
Yeah.
I have a son. He just entered kindergarten, and he's also new to the school. So I'm kind of new to everything, and I'll be leaning on you for support and help through everything we're going through now.
And we're here for you, John. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You forgot to say something that starts with the letter J that describes your personality.
Oh, I maybe have to think about that.
Thank you, John. Welcome. We're here to support you. Any
Only thing
questions, email us. Go ahead. You have something?
Jump, because my son loves to jump all the time.
And you jumped into the PTA role, so you also like to jump. That's great. All right,
Thank
John, welcome. Who's next? Anyone?
Come on, Annie. I'm gonna start calling names. Introduce yourself, people.
Hi, I'm Desiree Macari, now co-president of PS79. I wanted to thank everybody
Hi,
for
Desiree.
always helping. I actually had a quick question, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay, my former, the lady that used to do our books, our treasurer, she left us in a little bit of a disarray. She gave me numbers to submit with you guys, which didn't make sense to me. And then handed me a bunch of paperwork that she did not file. So I'm in the middle of a mess of trying to clean up what she had left us. She graduated, her son graduated out of school. So I'm now left cleaning up a mess, which is always fun. My question is when you do the beginning balance, I actually called, nobody returned my call. That's why I'm asking the question now. When you do the beginning balance, end balance, are you doing it from September through June? Is that how you're doing the year? Or is it January through December? Because her totals, to me, the end balance should be the same thing as the beginning balance. Does that make sense?
Unless you have, I'll take this. Unless you don't have any debits on your account, that's when the ending balance is the same as the beginning balance. But if you have any,
that I know, that's the obvious. But say, okay, let's go from July. Okay, so July, if the ending balance is 17,000, say, the beginning balance should be 17,000. I'm asking, where does the year start and where does it end? Does it start in September and end in June? Or does it start in January and end in December?
If I'm correct, Esther, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it starts in the end. Everybody has an ending financial report. So that would be in June, right? And so then it would start in September because that's when we begin again.
Yep.
And then it ends in June again. I mean, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So you do the transfer of records in June. That's when you give the number, the treasurer will give those numbers to the new treasurer. And then that person will start from, whatever she got, September, well, it's June, but you start school in September and it goes all the way to the following school year. But because of the pandemic, we're still using the same, what we always use, not to mix this up.
Right. Well, unfortunately, she put in, like, I looked at the numbers. Usually she does.
And just to go ahead, where did you call? Next time, just email me, please, and I would have called you right back and answered your question.
They did say somebody's going to get back to me, but
okay. So
Desiree, we had kind of like the same thing, right? Because Christine is now the treasurer. I was the treasurer last year, and we didn't know, like, we're about to start our treasurer's report again. And I had to look through my files and realize that the last one we submitted was January. So I had to call the bank to kind of find what is our balance and if it matched my ending balance, and it did. So that kind of helped us. So now we have now started again with the balance. So you might have to go back and look, I guess, right before the pandemic to see, because there's always supposed to be a report every month, I believe. So it shouldn't be once a year. Every month well,
no, the one I'm talking about, the one we have to submit. We had to submit October 30th.
Correct. So that report is what you would give your parent coordinator so she could enter into the SPLCI system. And so let's not talk about the parent that left already. So now moving forward, I know you have a lot of stuff to try to go ahead, try to enter the closest that you can, so you could enter that into the system.
Well,
Remember,
she,
that system can be changed. It's not you, it's a living system. So if you reconcile, or you find something missing, you could go ahead and give the PC and update it as many times as you can, and she could go into the system until the end of June when the school ends, because come July something, they wipe it out and have it clean already for the new school year. So
Okay,
it's
so
a
I could just
living
redo-
document. You could continue to change it and just put revised on top. Your
Okay.
PC should be able to re-enter it again. And that's what's happening to a lot of schools, because, you know, people graduated out, they couldn't no longer help us because they had graduated out and left, you know, they couldn't go into the school. So you do the best that you can moving forward. And, you know, if there's any vendors you have to pay or do anything, you take care of that. And then you keep revising that document. But the reason why your parent coordinators keep asking for it is because it has to be entered into the system.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Sorry.
Welcome,
Anybody
Desiree.
else wants to introduce themselves? I know there's some PCs in here. Please introduce yourselves. Turn on your cameras. Let us see you. Thank you for being here.
No comments about Desiree's cat?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, Lewis has love for cats. So
Yes, Lewis is a cat lover. Desiree, you need to say the name of your cat.
Oh, no, that's an evil cat.
No such thing as an evil cat.
Oh, no, this one, we saved her in the middle of a blizzard. And she'll be very sweet and cute and cuddly when you're petting her, and then all of a sudden turn into demon cat and like try to scream.
Bipolar.
So, you know, so one of the things that I want to just say, you know, just about your question, Desiree, and any other you know, question that parents will have is this will be and always be a forum where people can come and ask questions. And so just so everyone knows, especially now more than ever during a pandemic, the treasury of President's Council, of PTAs, is going to be a little complex, but you know what, we'll get through it. There's going to be ways that we can figure it out. Just the running of PTAs are going to be a little bit complex, and we'll get through it, and then we can figure it out. So I never, you know, we always say that we appreciate parent volunteers. This is a parent volunteer job. We don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed and stressed about it. Anything that you have just in terms of access to forms, things that you need, you can always reach out to your President's Council board or to Esther and myself. It's also really important to remember that you work alongside your principal, right? So, and your principal will be able to support you as well. So there's certain documents that do need to go to your principal. That financial piece is one of them. And it is a compliance piece for your principal. So please make sure that you are getting it to them as soon as possible. If you need any supports, once again, you can speak to PTA board, or you can reach out to Esther and I, and we'll support you. So like I said, we're going to work through this. Everyone will be trained. We're really excited to have new members, and it'll be great. And we'll continue to work in the same amazing way that we always have in District 25 for, you know, our parents and our communities.
Thank you, Danielle. We have
let me say something really quick, Francis. And I just want to tell for all the new parents that I see here, you know, you're going to find out things that your school probably did different or didn't do. Remember, from the day that you hear us at President's Council give you that information, you just go with it forward. You're not going to go back and say, you've been doing it wrong. No, it's a learning curve. You go ahead and adjust it and you move forward. So now you know that your report has to be in, and you could revise it as many times as you want. You know, maybe you didn't know that. So now you know that. So everything that you learn at President's Council or in the training sessions, or even when FACE gives trainings, you go ahead and whatever you learn moving forward. Okay?
Thank you, Esther. We have a comment from Eva Lalis Lopez. She says, good evening. I am Ever, treasurer from PS 201. I had the pleasure of being in the parent chat on Friday. Nice to meet everyone. Sorry, can't unmute. Well, welcome, and I'm glad that you're liking the parent chat. I think it is a very useful tool. So thank you to all the parent coordinators out there. I do see our 209's parent coordinator, Mrs. LaRussa. So thank you for being here. Okay, where are we sending dues? So I think this year, Esther, do you want to talk about the dues and what we're doing, or?
It's your decision, you guys.
So, Rashmi?
No, I think we were still deciding. I think we are not going to, we're going to table that for next month because we are kind of, some school PTAs, we are not collecting dues at this point. And if we are to collect, we will talk more in detail about it next month. But as of this point, we are going to give a break to the school's PTA because we understand that a lot of parents have had financial hardship. So we are going to understand that, and so we are not collecting dues as of now. Is that correct, Francis?
Yes, and just to add for the parents who are new, usually there's President's Council dues. There are $50 from every school. When we were having in-person meetings, we would sometimes, we would always have a school help us host it and like bring in a dinner or pizza or some type of snack. And we would also participate in that hospitality. So most of the dues went on that, or for any materials that we would need as President's Council, where we were in the process of buying a printer for any school that needed to make copies. Esther would have more information on that type of machine, and we never got to purchase it, but we still have in our, Christine, do you want to go into the treasurer's report so they can know what?
Sure, it sounds like it's in my ball. The ball is in my court. Let me see how to share my screen. Oh my God. Can everybody see it? Nope, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry. How do I unshare it?
That's okay.
Yes.
It
Here, let me
shows
try
our
to bring it
balance.
here, right here. I
Yeah,
just
if
brought
you
it from another screen. So if you guys can
Oh,
see, it shows our balance. Thank you, Francis, again for helping me. This is what teammates are for. I was in a little bit of a pickle this morning and she just helped me right away. So the starting balance, and it's since June, it's been $4,019.57. We have not written out any checks, have no deductions or total deposits. So the remaining balance is still $4,019.57. As Francis has said, in the previous years, we do collect $50 as a membership due for, you know, our special events. But this year we really don't have any special events since everybody's actually home for most of our meetings. So unless things get back to normal, I believe that, you know, something like that can change. If we needed to, we will reach out.
So just, go ahead, Christine.
I was also going to speak about the transfer of records, right? So if you guys
Before
have,
that, I just want to mention that this is for just the President's Council dues. I know
Right.
that other schools are collecting dues, so this doesn't apply to your school. Obviously, all the schools will still be collecting dues and just trying to find a way to collect them virtually and in person. This is just for the President's Council dues. So I just want to make that clear.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yes.
Christine, 1 second. If I said membership dues, that was just a slip. I didn't mean to say membership dues. We were just talking about President Council dues of $50. So just wanted to clarify that if anybody was not clear in what I said. So we are only talking about President Council not collecting dues at this point. I hope that's clear now.
And speaking on the word membership, yes, I apologize.
Yes.
We're so used to saying membership. Our school this year, we changed it to PTA donation drive because it just gives the message that only people who pay are members, and that is not the case. Everyone, whether they pay dues or not, is involved in the PTA in your school. So we're encouraging PTAs to not use the word membership and just maybe use, you know, other forms of names to, like I said, our school is using PTA donation drive.
Donation is a word that most PTAs use.
Okay, so donation is a good word to use instead of membership, although we understand it's the first fundraiser is that drive. Okay, and just going into, Christine, you wanted to talk about the transfer of records?
Oh, yep, sure. Transfer of records. Right now, everybody's starting off new. All you needed to do, what I did with my school, was write a business letter with your bank, their address, and the account number. And then your president can actually write out, like you want to take off person A and person B, and then have person C and person D added on. Make sure the names match your ID, and the people who are coming on need to go in with the letter, and the bank should be able to just change it into the computer right then and there. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Christine, just one thing. Our bank, I was informed for our treasurer, the two co-treasurers from our school, that the bank requested a letter from the principal. That, yeah, so they went to the bank to get the over because the co-treasurer left from last year, and the bank told them, we need a letter from your principal saying that this person left and this is the new person. So, just make sure
I guess it depends. I guess it depends on the bank.
It depends on the bank, but our bank has what they're
depends on the bank.
Yeah,
It depends on the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, and each bank
Our school-
requires. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
so
our
like,
bank was the same. Our bank was the same. We requested a school letterhead, and the letter come from the principal with this principal's signature on the bottom.
oh, okay.
My
bank didn't have, so I guess to be safe, either go with one or, both letters, and just have it ready. Just make sure that all the names on the, people are going onto the account is the same as it's on the ID.
And Desiree mentioned in the chat that you might need the last meeting's minutes to show that there was a transfer of board. So those are things, but I would recommend trying to call the bank first. I mean, I tried to call the bank today, and they basically told me I had to go in and ask. I was trying to avoid going in, but I guess I might have to do that to find out what the paperwork would be to add our new board. Okay, I just want to give a reminder that there's only 6 more minutes that Mr. Mango is going to be leaving. So if anyone has any questions for her, I would encourage you to ask them now before she leaves. If not, we'll just have to table them and get a question next time. John says, will all schools in the district be doing the parent chats? So that's a good question for Danielle.
Yes, John, they will all be doing, it is a requirement of my office that all schools in some way engage in the parent chats, either with your parent coordinator or anyone else who the principal designates.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Someone's typing really hard.
Thank you.
I
Does
can hear
anyone
it.
have any other questions?
Yeah, you can just ask them out loud. You don't have to type them if.
Yeah, you can, if you can unmute yourself, or we have a hand raised. Antonella, please go ahead.
Hi, no, I just wanted to, about the bank letter. Actually, I did it from, on the DOE website, in the FACE section where all the documents are, where you can download the financial report and all of that. There's actually a template there, if it makes it easier for anybody, where like it's already pre-populated. You just fill in like your school name, the names of the people that are outgoing, et cetera, and then just have the school put it on their letterhead. But it was like really helpful because you didn't have to reinvent it. It was already out there. And if you want, I could send you the link to that but it's in the FACE section of the DOE website with all the documents for PTAs.
Thank you for that
That would help. That, yeah.
Okay, I have here, we also have someone from FACE here, Sharon Kang, welcome. Okay, I have in the chat, it says, hi, Princess PTA president at 201. I enjoyed the parents chat. Can't wait for the next one. Be safe and be well.
Yeah, you know what? I want to thank Ever and Princess. You guys were great. And so I do recommend that PTA boards, a great place to start. You feel more, you have a different relationship with your principal. We know that you get to meet them and have access to them. And it was really nice to see your guys' feedback. So I want to say thank you. You two were really influential in our discussions. So thank you for being part of that.
And I'm sorry, I apologize, Debbie, I skipped over your comment. How often will parent chats take place?
So Debbie, it depends upon the needs of a school. So Dr. Mike and I are definitely planning to do them in the district level quarterly, but there is no limit. We require them to be quarterly. But if you need to have them more often than not, that is completely up to families and parents and the school.
Thank you, Danielle. I have Michelle Abril with her hand raised. Go ahead, Michelle.
Hi, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm from the co-president from PS244 from TAILS. So, happy to be part of the new PTA member. My son just started kindergarten there. And obviously during these uncertain times, I'm a very involved parent, especially in his life. So super appreciate the help and the support from everyone. So I'm excited to join.
Thank you, Michelle. It's good to see kindergarten parents. I too was a kindergarten parent. I went right in and I'm still here, as you can see. So welcome. Okay, we have 2 more minutes for Danielle before she leaves. Does anybody have any questions?
All right, well, I'm looking forward to this year, and welcome to all our new parent leaders. And as I said, if I don't speak to any of you before, everyone have a very thankful and amazing Thanksgiving. Enjoy this time with your families. I'm looking forward to it. As everyone says, we're having a very small Thanksgiving, and I'm actually kind of excited for that, just my immediate family. So so please, everyone, spend time and make sure that it is time that you spend with your loved ones, and and just enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Danielle, and thank you for all the work you do for our district. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about the bylaws. Congratulations on our district for getting 100% on all their elections. And I know it was not easy, but we did it, and now you're here. So at this time, everyone should have filled out their election candidate form and sent it to Esther, and Esther's going to need everyone's bylaws. And just to give a little bit information about the bylaws, that's usually the best place to start with, right? Reading the bylaws to know exactly what you can and cannot do. And of course, your bylaws have to coincide with the chancellor's bylaws, A660. So you can't just add something into your bylaws that is not there. Okay, so please, I would recommend all the new PTA presidents to get familiar with them. You won't get familiar with them the first time you read them, but you keep it handy and keep reading them, and you start learning as you go. Something about the bylaws, they have to be updated every 3 years. And it's okay. Right now, we're about to amend our bylaws. Rashmi, do you want to talk about the co-position that we need to include in there?
So for President Council's board, we have co-presidents, we have secretaries, but we do not have co-treasurers, right? Did I say it?
No, it's vice versa.
It's the vice versa. Okay.
It's
So we have
co-treasurers.
co-treasurers, but not co-secretary.
Right.
Okay. So we also we would like to amend our bylaws. So what we will do is, like, for this meeting, or we will call for motion to amend our bylaws to include a co-position for the secretary. And so this is how we would do just a small enhancement to or addition to our bylaws. So I'm going to call for, I would like to motion to add a co-position for secretary for President Council, District 25 President Council's board. I would need a second to that motion. So somebody would raise their hands and say yes. And in the next meeting, we will make those changes to our bylaws. We will show it to you guys, and then we will vote on it. And if all voted with 8, the quorum is for 8, that means 2 members from the board and 6, at least 6 members from the PTAs, then we will adopt that to our bylaws. So having said that, I would say I motion to amend our bylaws to add a co-position for the secretary. Can I get a motion for that? Can somebody second that motion? So somebody.
I second the motion.
Desiree just raised her hand.
Desiree, okay, so we got 2. So thank you. And next meeting, you will see those changes, and then we will take it for them. So that's how for any changes in bylaws, for any addition, any amendments, that it requires minimum of 2 meetings. In one meeting, you make the motion to make changes, and in the next meeting, you adopt that motion or adopt those changes by vote.
Wait, Rashmi, can I add something really quick? In that first meeting that Rashmi's talking about, you're gonna present the motion. And if people have questions or they want to discuss, that's the first meeting where you would have that. So at your school level, say you want to change the time or whatever, the first meeting, like Rashmi said, that you bring it up, you could open it up for discussion. If people have questions, you want to go more in detail, you could go ahead and do that, just like Rashmi did it. Then you go ahead and bring it up, and it's a vote. It's the whole, it's not just the executive board, it's the whole school, the people who attend your PAPTA meetings who will have a vote.
Yep.
Thank you, Rashmi.
Thank you, Esther.
Rashmi, thank you, Esther. So basically, read your bylaws. You can also create a committee for people to read it and kind of look through it and see what applies to you and what doesn't apply to you, like in ours, the co-position. So there's a lot of bylaws that don't have co-position. So that might be something that would benefit your school, because sometimes people are too afraid to run by themselves, or they want to run with someone, or maybe their time, they just, can't dedicate. So we want to give parents as many options as we can. Okay, so thank you. Does anybody have any questions about their bylaws? And please, if you don't have them, I know many of you are still trying to get into your schools, or each school should have a copy of their bylaws inside. And I know we may not have them as PDF, but this is a time this year to work on that, right? To make them, scan them and put them as a PDF so that you have them and you can have access to them and not just in the school. Does anybody have any questions about their bylaws? Okay, Clarissa.
Hi, yes, a quick question. Since we're so short on time already, do we have to have 2 separate meetings to have this presented and then voted on, or can we do this in a consolidated one shot?
No,
I believe, and Esther, correct me if I'm wrong, sorry, Rashmi. I believe that if you put it on for the next meeting and you put the amendments that you're trying to make on the paper as a notice, that then in the following meeting you can do that. Esther, am I correct? Esther?
I'm trying to unmute, I'm sorry.
That's
So,
okay.
yeah, you have short time, but due to the pandemic, but we want to follow A660 as close as possibly as we can. So, if you go ahead and present it, say, on your agenda that's sent out, you would still need to go ahead and discuss it. So on your agenda, it would say upgrading bylaws, and then you could put meeting date or adding a call, whatever it is, but you still have to open it for discussion at your meeting and then go ahead and vote it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Great,
we don't want to change the regulation.
Okay.
We want to try to keep it as close as possible. I know that we're kind of starting late because of elections and everything, but we're just going to try to pick up and, follow as closely as possible as we can.
Okay, so if we get in our amended bylaws and budgets and all of that before the end of the year, we're still good?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else who has a question?
And
So just-
remember, you might not have anything to change, but just that you went over and you made your bylaws, your school bylaws available to the parents so they could go ahead and be familiar with it. And if nothing needs to be changed and everything's fine, you could just go ahead and have the new board sign it and sign it 2020. So then that the next board, they have 3 years, they could go ahead. It is advised that you check them every year, but every 3 years they have to be, you could amend a bylaws anytime that you want, just by doing the steps that Rashmi showed you, but you don't have to wait the 3 years. You could go ahead and change them. So say a school changes the time of the meeting, you go ahead and introduce it, you have a discussion, you vote on it, and then the next meeting you vote on it and it gets approved. But say the pandemic disappears and we're back to go, we're able to go back to school and do our meetings in person, and that time slot doesn't work anymore, you could go ahead and amend it again and go back to the way it was. So remember, also the bylaws are a living document. You could go ahead and change them as many times as long as the board brings it up for a vote and discussion at your meeting.
Thank you, Esther. And thank you, Desiree, for coming. I know you have to leave. So thank you for joining us and have a great night. At this time, and again, if you have any questions, Esther had put her email and we put our email as well. We will always, if we don't have the question to answer for you today, we will get back to you on that. At this time, we're going to start with virtual fundraising. I know some of you now are doing the PTA donation drives, which is the start off of the year. And some parents have asked, well, how can we raise money if in this pandemic? But at this time, it might, like I do the programming in my school, and I think it might even cost us more money now this year because of the pandemic for these programming for all the children. So there's always things that your school is going to need, whether it's PPE, whether it's programs for the children. So this year is a very crucial year because of the pandemic to raise money. I know that I think Eleni started, she has some insight on this virtual fundraising. And I know some of you are already doing holiday boutique. So Eleni, you wanna take over?
Hi guys. So as Francis was saying, we did start our donation letter, and now we have started already our holiday virtual fundraiser. So what Tiffany and I did, we reached out to our fundraising team and asked them to start looking at companies to see what the percentage is, what the shipping charges are, and all that stuff. So the fundraising team all got together and everybody did their part and was looking up different fundraisers, and they came back. Okay, this company is only giving us a 10% profit. This company is giving us a 40% profit. This one says free shipping up to this. So if you guys are interested in doing a holiday fundraiser, it should obviously be virtual. What we did, we attached a flyer from the school, and the bottom we linked the company that we're using. So we've gone through a couple of companies, like you can use Miss Chocolates. There's Castle Creations, but their percentage is pretty low. There's also a great company called Believe Kids, which is the company that we're using now, which is actually giving us 40% profit, and everything is done online. They have links on how to register, where to register. It's absolutely amazing. And then they also have, there's another company called Prestige. Tiffany, if that's the correct name, do you remember if it was Prestige?
Yes.
Okay, they're based in Long Island. So if you guys want any information on fundraising, guys could ask your questions now, or you could always email us. But we all know it's a crucial time, and it's, you don't want to push people for things, but like we said, we're not pushing, we're not begging, we're not saying we want, it's all of our letters are saying we would like to support our teachers and students.
Thank you, Eleni. And I just want to say that I know that when we have in our PTA donation drive in our letter, we put the amount, whether it's $20, $25, but we also put a $50 increment, a $100 increment, and then a place where it says other. And we do that because there are some families who can give more. So we don't want to limit it just to the $20. And I think that if you open it up like that, then those people who didn't pay and then those people who paid more, it'll all sort of balance out. So I just want to give that idea out to your PTA donation drives when you make your letters. I see Tiffany, you have your hand up.
I had a question from before when you guys were doing the bylaws. If my question was, when we update our bylaws, we're going to put and or. So since we do that, we don't have to amend it again. So in other words, when we go back to normal, normally we would have our board meeting or a general meeting in the morning, and then we also did one at night. Now, due to COVID, we're having them at night, so everyone's able to get on. Since we had both listed, we don't have to do another amendment then if it goes back to normal, correct?
So,
yeah, did
right.
you put and or?
And or.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure before we send it, you know, when we get the vote and everything. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. And the more questions that, you know, you ask, other people might be thinking the same thing or may not be thinking that, but now have an answer to it. So please, we encourage your questions because this is what President's Council is about. It's really about the questions that you ask, so we can trickle down that information to all of you. And one of our agenda items is, you know, to everyone here is we want to know before we set our agenda for the rest of the year, what you want us to talk about. So you can tell us, you can email us, you can write it in the chat. We're going to be collecting the information, or you can tell us verbally, what is it that you want to learn from President's Council, or what we can help you with that you want to eventually have in a meeting, whether it's a PowerPoint presentation or a speaker. So please, at this time, I'm going to open up the floor for that feedback so that it can help us kind of gauge to put our agenda together for the rest of the year.
Francis, before the questions, I just want to make a quick note on Tiffany's comment. So yes, you don't have to amend the bylaws because you took care of it in the first instance. But as Esther and Francis were mentioning earlier, if that bylaw is 3 years and older, then it is a good idea to just get a fresh signature. So we know that even if nothing is changed, it is still adopted and voted on by general public. So it's refreshed again every 3 years.
Yeah, I knew that. I know. I just wanted to make sure when we
update
it now. Thank you.
Cool.
Okay, so we have another question in the meantime while we're waiting for agenda items from Elizabeth Everett. Welcome. What happens if someone sends money or a check for a fundraiser like membership? Usually we have 2 people in school to count and record the money received. Since we can't go to school to do that, how should the PTA work around it? We're set up PayPal, but I have a feeling people may send checks for money. There's nothing really we can do when people do send in money. Obviously, you can make an appointment with your principal and let them know. I mean, you can't just pop up at the school. It's almost like wherever you go now, you have to make a reservation. So I would wait a couple of days and then tell your principal the time that you're trying to go in to count with someone else. I don't know, does that answer your question, or do you want to unmute yourself to expand on the question?
No, that works for me. I was just wondering, in case it happens, what we should do. So that works. I'll just ask for permission and hope it's not a problem.
Right, and we hope that you get most of it through PayPal, but there is that, you know, that possibility that they will send, and then you have to go in and count it and then make the deposit. So, yeah.
Elizabeth, I'm sorry to interrupt. What we did was we asked the principal to take all the, you know, as the money's going in the PTA slot, to take it for us and put it in her safe.
Right.
And then when she saw that it was, you know, not an abundance, but when it took about 2 weeks for us to get the first bulk of it. Also, you know, we were scared that we were going to close, so we wanted to get it done. So we got it done today. So they emailed the principal and asked if they can go in today. The principal said yes, and they took care of it.
Okay. Did you also get donations through PayPal?
No, our bank at that point was not allowing us. So what we did is we requested checks and cash to come into the school, and then we requested that remote learners, if they could, to mail it in. I know it's kind of hard, but that's the only option right now.
Yeah, yeah.
If you have a way and your bank allows it, I think, Francis, it's okay.
Well, the thing is, you cannot have anything everything has to be attached to the PTA bank account. It cannot be a personal account of anyone at all. Like, the PayPal has to be attached to the PTA account, because we can't really withdraw through PayPal. We could only receive online. And I don't know, we can't use it. See, our bank accounts are a little different than regular bank accounts, right? It's like a little business account, and we're not allowed to hold debit cards for this account. So it's very hard for us, or to even wire transfer anything, because there's 2 signatures, and some PTAs have 3 signatures, depending on what your bylaws say, that before you can make a check valid. So like when we were receiving donations, like for the Jews in President's Council, sometimes people would give us a check with 1 signature, and we had to return the check back, because if we deposit that check, it will bounce, because there's no 2 signatures on there. So it's not a valid check. So that's very important. If your bank, I believe, we asked ourselves about Zelle, and they said Zelle wasn't allowed. So they don't allow Zelle for business accounts. I mean, that's what was said in our bank. So I would talk to your bank and see what they do allow online in regards to the PTA account. And if they don't, like Eleni said, it's hard, but you're going to have to ask them to mail it in, which is an added expense with the envelope and the stamp. But there's no other way, and we have to include everyone. So,
and then, guys, remember, whatever you do, make sure, whatever you do, fundraising, always inform the principal before. Like, you want to do a fundraiser, you bring the idea up to the principal. Everything that we do in our school, the principal is the number one.
Yeah.
We don't take it upon ourselves to make decisions. We come up with something, we ask her everything.
Yes, everything you do in the PTA should be a collaborative effort. I know that we're autonomous, but we still want to work with the school in harmony, so we understand what everybody's doing and how we can make it better. There are some questions here from Stephanie. It says, I have a question regarding box tops. Should we still be collecting them, or do we have to stop during this time? I would think that's something that you have to talk to with your PTA board. Rashmi, do you have anything to add to that, or Christine or Eleni?
Yeah, I was trying to understand that question. In addition, does it mean for Stephanie, do you mind expanding your question a little bit so we can understand it a little bit? Stephanie?
Okay, well, I see the box tops. The box tops.
I'm sorry, I apologize. So what used to happen was box tops used to come on a monthly basis, and then we used to submit it based on the box top deadline. Now, with the whole pandemic happening and the PTA being limited to go into the schools, should we stop box tops altogether right now, or do we still allow them to come into the school? What are other PTAs doing about it?
I know that, let me see, Deborah Ferrara, are you here, Deborah?
So
can
I, so what I can speak, go ahead.
Can I go ahead and answer?
Yes, Esther, please.
Sorry, so that is a fundraiser that a lot of schools did do in the past, to go ahead and raise, funds or to help out, but you have to take, since it's still coming to the school, you don't have everybody there. You want to be inclusive to everybody. So how are the people that are not at the school going to go ahead and partake this? And I think that because right now we're very careful of who goes into the school buildings. I would go ahead and table that until further notice, because, you don't want to go ahead and having people, I believe that you have people cut the top of the boxes, correct? And then they bring it in. And so you just don't want to go ahead and do that right now. I think I would table this and find another way to go ahead and fundraise. I mean, you could ask your families to hold them until further, and hopefully this pandemic will soon leave us and we could all go back to normal. and your families will have those saved for you guys. But I think that would be the best for right now.
Yeah, I agree. The box tops, and I'm curious if the box tops is doing box tops, you
They
know?
are.
Oh,
They
they
are.
are. Okay, so I would, because I believe I would just like what Esther recommended, just hold on to them if you wanna, but there's not a way to, you know, being that we have limited access, I would limit, because the box tops is never ending. They keep sending them in. So I would definitely try to find another fundraiser. You can use it, but I wouldn't like count it so often, maybe once a year. I believe the expiration date is like a couple of years, isn't it? Or is it
And
like
also for Stephanie's school, 129, we also do a ShopRite with the box tops where there is nothing to be sent into the school.
Oh,
Can we
then
stop
I
that
think that's
part?
fine then.
So
That's
you
fine.
know, the box tops, you don't have to cut them out anymore. There is
Yeah.
a scan mode now. So it came
Okay.
out towards the middle or end of last year. So you don't have to cut them. You just have to scan them now.
But
for your
Tiffany,
school
do
to
you
get
scan them
credit.
to do you scan them to a
Scan
school?
them- You scan them
Yeah,
with
it's
your
a
phone
scannable to the
and-
school.
And it's
And
scanned to the
129
school.
has ShopRite on 20th Avenue.
So Brooke, do we have to create it? Or
You
they
gotta
just
go to the grocery
ShopRite
store
you have to
and you
create.
sign up there.
The
So
ShopRite
wait,
you have to create. The box
PTA
tops,
goes?
you don't.
I think you could do it online too.
But I'm saying the PTA has to create it and then
Our
send it out
last
to the.
treasurer last year created ours.
Tiffany, the box tops, when you scan it, right, you have to connect it to your school,
Yeah, but
right?
you
But everybody could do that on their own?
Someone told me it's easy to connect because your school's already linked to the box tops if you have already been doing them. And there should be on the app a way to put your
Link
school name in, and they'll get credit for it. And then box tops will just mail the school the check like they normally would when we mail them in.
Okay. So Stephanie, maybe that's something that you guys can look into. And then you can probably, I guess, advertise or like advertise it somehow, letting your parents know that you can now scan the box tops and then just link it to the school. But, you know, I would try it out first.
Yeah, definitely do some research on it and then connect it with school. Thank you for that question. I'm going to continue to Stephanie's second question, which is, in addition, can we continue to sell spiritware that we have? If we can, what could we do for the students? There are schools selling their spiritware. Some are even making new spiritware. I know in our school we're doing a logo contest of maybe someone changing the logo of the school or just recreating it. But then again, like Esther said, how do we include the remote? Maybe we can include them online sales. That would be anyone else from the board wants to or add anything to that?
I mean, I know that there's places in our school where we do custom ink. You know, it's every parent goes online. You do the design already, and then you put, you know, what shirts or whatnot that you would want, and they would order it and it would get shipped to their home. But of course, it's a little bit more costly, and it will still be a fundraiser.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Stephanie, does that help you out? Answer your question?
So we have to try to find a place that does it online, and the stuff that's inventory that we have in person, leave for now.
Yes, to make it easier for you, if you want to continue to do box tops.
Spiritware.
And spiritware.
So this year we're trying to, because of the pandemic, because of everything that's going on, try to think of fundraisers where you don't have to have contact with people or, you know, go into school as much. It's a little bit more inventive. I mean, I know the places like the places that Eleni has mentioned, and then there's still your traditional, like what, Yankee Candle, things like that. You can still order, but it will just be, instead of shipping to the school, ship it to the house. You know.
Yeah, I would really recommend doing a lot of stuff virtually. I know it's so new to us, so that's why this is a great opportunity to see what other people are doing. Because in case, like Danielle mentioned, if the schools or in like SLTs, if the schools do close down, we're not going to be able to go in and count money, but it will have to be there and wait until we can have access again. So definitely go for the virtual. But thank you, Stephanie, for that question. I have Debbie Pappas. Our bank allowed our treasurer to set up a PayPal account. When you say to set up a PayPal, was it for the PTA account or for your treasurer's account? We need to be clear with that, Debbie.
Hi, everybody. My name is Debbie Pappas. I'm co-president for Bell Academy Middle School. So our treasurer was able to set up a PayPal account through our bank for the PTA. So we had our first fundraiser, which was Cascone cheesecakes, and parents were able to send money through PayPal. Although we did have a few checks that they sent in, and our parent coordinator allowed us to one person to come in and handed it to us to deposit at our bank. So, but the PayPal was the bulk of the money that we received through when we let our parents know that we set it up. So our treasurer did that actually. I don't know the process, but I know he went on the DOE website to allow him to set it all up.
Okay, well, that's
and just really quick, that is a recommendation that FACE is doing, that you do use PayPal only for receivement, not for payment. So that's what we'll try to ask your treasurer how he did it so he can go ahead and share with us, and then that way we can share with all the other parents.
Yes. And what bank is that?
Do you, I'm sorry, this is Margaret. Yeah, do you guys need to find out? Because he's right here.
Yeah, if you could share with us, that would be great.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, but I didn't.
It's okay. So I'm Margaret. I'm the parent coordinator of PS32, but I'm also the recording secretary of Bell Academy. And my husband, Greg, is the treasurer of Bell Academy, and he's the one that did the PayPal. So just give me 1 second, and I'm going to see if he can talk. Take this off. Can you guys hear us?
No.
Can hear you.
You can hear me?
Hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Hon?
Well, what's the question?
They want to do the they want to know how you set up the PayPal.
How
Oh, you were cutting in and out.
opened an account. I think it was a business account with the Bell PTA email address. And then I linked the account directly to the PTA bank account with the routing and tracking numbers. Or no, sorry, not the tracking, the account number and the routing number. Does that make sense?
Can you talk a little bit about the documents that PayPal needed?
Who's asking? I don't know. Someone.
The documents that PayPal needed to.
Esther, can you hear them? Can you hear?
Yeah, we heard it.
I don't hear anybody.
Yeah, we heard you. We heard you.
We heard you.
We heard you.
Okay. Does that? I mean, did you guys need any more information about that?
What documents did PayPal need to verify that you're a 501c3 nonprofit organization?
What documents did the bank
Maybe
did PayPal need or the bank?
Well, are they, Louis, are they a 501c or they're just?
Okay, you're right. So if you're not a 501c3, well, someone put that in the chat.
Right. That's
right.
that's
No,
probably a typo.
we are not. Right, Debbie? We're not a 501c. Is that correct?
There's less steps.
Right.
Right.
We are not a 501. Correct, Margaret.
Right. So I would say there's a big difference between whether you actually, and this is a sort of important, but whether you actually have an online banking account or if you don't, right? So if your bank allows you to have online access to the PTA account, it's much faster to set up the PayPal than if you don't, you put the tracking, I'm sorry, I keep saying tracking, the bank account and routing number in. Is your speaker not staying on?
No, it's on.
And then you have to wait like 3 days for the bank to verify and sort of connect the PayPal account. I mean, it's 3 days, 2 to 3 days, I think.
Right.
So I have a question. You said you opened up a bank account. Did you not have one already?
No.
existing?
We had a bank account. No, I
Oh, okay,
opened
so
up
you
a
just added
PayPal
the
account.
PayPal. Okay.
I opened a PayPal
What
account.
bank is that? What bank is that?
I don't know if that matters, but it's Capital One.
No, it does matter because there are some banks that are more PTA friendly. And so
Oh, right.
it's good to know that Capital One is working with PTA. Some banks
Won't give you the online access. Right?
will not even give that option. So that's why it's good to know what banks so that people might want to, we're looking now, we might be changing our account because of this issue. So that's why it's good to know what banks. And I know that, and maybe Sharon Kang can speak on this. I know for me, I go to the CPAC meetings and they often talk about working with 1 or 2 banks that is going to be PTA friendly so that it's easier for us to kind of work with all our documents and financials. So it's good to know that Capital One has that online access. So.
Yeah, and I would say seemingly, you know what it was is we didn't actually have the online access, and I asked about it, and then I just said, you know what, I'll give it a shot. I'll call the bank and see if they'll give it to me, and the guy set it up for me. So I mean, I don't know if it would have been a different experience if I walked into the bank, but the guy on the phone, customer service rep on the phone, was very helpful for Capital One.
Well, yeah, I call TD Bank. We have a TD Bank account in both my schools, 209 and President's Council. I actually had to verify. I had to give my social, and so they do verify the signers on the account before they do.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely verified me, but I'm just saying that he was helpful in actually pushing through, giving me online access.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Hopefully that helped some PTAs out there. Let me just
Francis, I just had a quick question.
Go ahead, Annie.
It's Annie from 242. Does anybody have online banking with their current PTA bank account?
Mike.
So you're not supposed to have it. It was in July when
Right.
Facebook introduced that. So a lot of banks, a lot of PAPTAs did reach out to the banks, and they were not being allowed online because of the 2 signatures. But I think because of the times, and a lot of PAPTAs, not just in District 25, but around the whole boroughs, are coming out. Banks are being creative and allowing PAPTAs to go ahead and have that.
Yeah, because I was just trying to figure out which banks figured out a workaround around the multiple signatories, that type of security, that double security. What banks found a workaround for that?
Debbie Pappas, what bank did you say that gave you the PayPal?
Capital One.
It was Capital One. That was me. Well, we both said it, but I was going to add something, and I kind of just lost my train of thought. That's okay.
Anybody else have their hand up?
Yeah, there's one person. It says CC14.
I think it's important to.
So this is interesting.
So,
Margaret, who was it? The treasurer is, wait, I'm confused. Margaret, you're the parent coordinator, correct?
And the recording secretary. It is very confusing.
I'm her husband. I'm the treasurer.
Right.
Okay, I see. Okay, no, but we were just wondering because we just want to be clear that if it's a husband and wife, you both cannot be signers on one check.
Nope, we're not. And never have. And we did this.
I'm just saying that because it's a perfect example for the rest of the PTAs, so that they know that. So yeah.
I was going to make one other distinction with an online bank account. I mean, I don't do any real transactions online with the bank account. It's really for viewing transactions. It's not for making transactions.
Right.
And so hooking up the PayPal account to the bank account is really just to allow PayPal payments to make it, into the bank, and not to, make any other sort of, you can't make withdrawals. You can't, basically pay through the online account, but it's very helpful to be able to, look at the transactions, so on and so forth, to update your your fundraising reports and whatever, and your bank account reports and all those things for meetings. But just so you know, it's not like you're using the online bank account for any kind of transactional stuff except to hook it to that PayPal. The PayPal is really is only making transactions into, or, what is it? Credits, not debits. Let's just put it that way.
All right, well, thank you. That was very
Sure.
helpful. Thank you so much for that. I see a hand raised up before I continue with the chat. It says CC14. You want to unmute yourself?
Hi, everybody. It's Christine. How are you? I just wanted to say, as far as back to the fundraising that you were going about, the virtual fundraising, two things that I have is the cookie dough online. They give back, I believe it's 25 to 30%, depending on what your revenue coming in is, but they'll send the money directly. And then everybody likes cookie dough. It's the holidays. Buy the cookie dough. I think it's like $15 to $20 for a tub of, they have, I don't know, 10 or 15 different types of cookie dough. And there's also a popcorn. It's called Poppin' Popcorn. That it's the same concept. It's the different flavored popcorns in different tins and different tubs. And they give back, I think it's 15 to 20%, depending on the amount that the school brings in. So those are good virtual. They work well with the PTA. Also, I wanted to remind everybody, think out of the box. A lot of the local restaurants will work with the PTAs. Yes, we can't go and dine in. It's not really, the dining, but Applebee's will on takeout orders. Five Guys, we just did it. Five Guys, they give you a code, you share it with your PTA. It's another great way to bring in, everybody likes to have, have a meal brought in that they don't have to cook. So it's just another quick way to bring in some extra money to the PTA. So just think out of the box and look at your local businesses. That's all I wanted to say, guys.
Thank you.
Christine.
Thank you.
Go back. Question from Debbie Pappas. What are schools doing regarding photographers for picture day? I believe, and Esther, correct me, I believe Danielle said we're not doing any picture days. We're holding off until spring, correct?
Yeah,
Esther?
she said she didn't want any what was the word that she used, visitors into our school for the remainder of this year, just for safety precautions. It can change next year in the beginning. Maybe something for spring, but no guarantees yet.
Okay, I have another comment from Danielle saying box tops are digital now. So, and Christine saying that as well. So please do, look into that and see how your school can benefit from that. How do we set up a PayPal account for non-501c3? Do you mean just set up a regular PTA bank account? If you want to unmute yourself and just elaborate on your question. Okay, so I'm just gonna, answer what I think the question is. How do we set up a PayPal account for a non-501c, meaning it's a regular PTA or PA account? You would just, I would think that our district has all these PTA accounts already set up. If you're planning to change a bank for whatever reason, you would still have to bring that to the general membership and get that approved before you can do so. Does that answer your question? Esther, do you want to add anything to that, or anyone else on the board?
No, you pretty much said everything.
Okay, so the next thing for Maureen, no documents needed, just tax ID name. Oh, well, that Maureen, what bank did you work with then? Maureen? Give her a few seconds. Okay, I see from Danielle, Chase also allows PayPal, which is good. Are there any charges for using PayPal? I believe they are, but it's up to you if you want to pay for them or you want to put that over to the person using the PayPal. You might want to tell them that there's a service fee if they use PayPal. Does anyone want to talk about using PayPal and what they're doing with their service fees? Well, that would be an option. So it's up to you if you want to pay for that or if you want to add it and just let the person know that there is a service charge and put what the amount is. Okay, we have Maureen.
Francis, if it's a gift through PayPal, there's no fee
On either side.
on either side.
Oh, really? Okay. That's good to know. So we set it up as a gift, like a
Like a payment, right, a gift.
Oh, very, very good.
Person sending you money.
Right.
Yeah.
If
And
the
that
person who's sending you
applies
money sends that as
for,
a gift.
Sorry, does that apply for business accounts where you can give a gift for no fee?
For the PayPal, that's what's been happening.
It has to be friend to friend.
What do you mean, friend to friend?
I don't know if you could do it on a business account, Esther. Sorry, Francis. I know that when you have it's a friend to friend, you don't pay a fee. But I don't believe that is eligible on a business account because I have a friend who has a business and I always have to send her on her personal account, not her business account. Otherwise I get charged a fee. So I don't know, she always reminds me, send it to my personal account, not the business.
I'd have to confirm that with the person. I've really only had one other PTA member sending me money for a fundraiser right now, so I'll just confirm with them whether they are getting charged any fees. I can let you know.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Chase has Zelle even for business account since we looked into it. TD doesn't have Zelle for business accounts. Okay, so that's, good to know. I don't see any hands raised. I'm going to go back to Elaine.
There's one hand, yeah.
Hi, I just have a question about the PayPal account because when I called, they say this 2.9% charges and 30 cents plus 30 cents per transaction. So I told them we are nonprofit, we're PTA. They say it's a business account, doesn't matter. You still get charged. So I just want to share that.
Okay, so are you a nonprofit PTA or are you just saying that PTAs are nonprofit? Because there is a difference.
Oh, I just say we're PTA and it's not like.
So Esther, can you just elaborate? Because a lot of times people think that PTAs are all nonprofit and that's not the case. There is an actual process to become not-for-profit and where people can get more deductibles. It is a lengthy process. We don't really recommend it because then you have to, go through all these things and have accountants and go through all that. I mean, we function as a PTA. We can get a tax exempt ID, but that does not make us a not-for-profit organization, if that helps make it clear.
Yes, I was confused. Sorry, I'm new to the PTA, so I wasn't sure if it's like PTA is nonprofit.
Yeah, Elaine, everyone thinks that, and until this day, people do. So no, I'm glad that you brought it up so that we can clear it up out there. Does anyone else have any questions or agenda items they would like to see throughout the year? So we can start working on that. Please put it in the chat. You can email us or you can unmute yourself to let us know. Anyone?
Also, Christina was saying something about local businesses and somebody was mentioning that they use Cascon, which is also a great idea. My question is, what do? Parents have to go pick up the pies directly from the bakery, right? Somebody mentioned that they were doing Cascon. I think it was.
Yeah, it was Christine.
Christine?
No, I didn't say Cascade.
No, I think
it was
Pappas,
Pappas, I think.
She said that they were doing Cascon.
I was wondering that too, because usually Cascon delivers to the school.
Yeah, they said that they're not allowing pickups in the store. It has to be delivered to a location and then the PTA distributes.
So
to the school, right? You're still delivering to the school?
Right. So from what I heard, Bell Academy was actually delivering, I believe, from the schoolyard. I think that's what I heard from another parent.
Okay. Christine, to go based upon what you were saying, I was also thinking, you know, since we're going through all of this and our restaurants, our neighboring restaurants are getting hurt. And like you said, maybe there's not indoor dining. I mean, it's only at 25%. But if we can reach out to them and maybe do like order delivery or anything, or pick up anything to help out our neighbors.
You know, you would
our
believe,
community.
you would be really surprised. I know a lot of the restaurants here in Whitestone, Bayside, a lot of them were, yeah, you know, Bell Boulevard is filled with restaurants. I know Cascarino's was very happy to do it. Five Guys, I mean, I know it's not like a real restaurant, but Five Guys did it. Applebee's does it. They're all eager, you know, that's money in for them.
Yeah.
So if they can get the money in and then help the schools and the community, it's a win-win for everybody. That's why I say, like, just reach out to those local businesses. I mean, they might be willing to work with you in any way, you know.
You can also try to reach out, even if we used to use Ralph's Ice. I know they're closed now, but maybe even like carve out, maybe they're off to do something, or even Patsy's Pizza. We used to do
any of the
anything.
places that are in our community. Like, I think it's a great time for us to like help them, you know, it's kind of like two birds with one stone. Help our school, help us, help our school, help our community. I think that would be amazing if all of our schools get together and just help.
Yeah, I mean, definitely reach out. I mean, I know it also has to do a lot with the profit margin of what your school is going to get, right? But it could, if you can turn it into a win-win situation, that would be great, you know, to help the community and help your school. So on that note, I want to say, John, thank you for coming. And thank you for those that have to leave. I mean, we have a few minutes left. We're going to have Louis is going to do a presentation. So Louis, are you ready?
Oh, Louis.
Yeah, I'm ready.
He's been ready.
Louis. Sorry, Louis.
Discussion on fundraising.
Oh my God.
Guys, he's been waiting so patiently throughout this entire time just to do this for us.
Okay. So, you know, we've been working with parent coordinators a lot ever since the DOE allowed us to start using Zoom again. And of course, there's lots of different security features and settings and things that make our Zoom accounts different than the basic accounts that you can get just by signing up for a free Zoom account. So I want to quickly go through two things that I think parent coordinators and PTAs are encountering when they are trying to use their NYC DOE Zoom accounts. As you know, free Zoom accounts are limited to 40-minute meetings when there's more than 2 people in it. So it's really important that you know how to log into Zoom correctly using your DOE account. And then once you do log in correctly, you want to make sure that you're setting up your meeting correctly. That will allow everyone to join the meeting, not just people with a DOE account like we do with our kids, to keep the meetings safe. So before we start, I just want to go through 2 quick links that are really important for you to have. First, it's super important that you download the Zoom program to your computer or to your mobile device. You can do a lot of things on the web, but you will have the best results and the best experience when using the Zoom client on your computer. The other link I want to share is the DOE's portal for Zoom. And you can get there by going to nycdoe.zoom.us. And that actually will bring up this website. So if you're ever having trouble logging into Zoom correctly with your account, you can always go through the Zoom portal and you can go ahead and log into Zoom this way as well, okay? The other thing I want to talk about is you're going to hear me use the term SSO a lot. SSO stands for single sign-on. And when we're logging into Zoom using SSO, you want to know that our code for SSO is NYCDOE, okay? New York City Department of Education. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to correctly log into Zoom. Okay. So here I have the Zoom client installed on my computer, and as you can see, I'm not logged in. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click sign in. And the first thing it's going to want you to do, it's going to want you to enter your email address and password. Now, if you log in on the left-hand side here, even if you use your DOE account, you will not be logging in correctly, okay? This will log you in with a free account, which will not have all of the perks of our DOE licensed accounts. So when you get to this login screen, you always want to click on the sign in with SSO on the right-hand side, okay? When you click that sign in with your SSO, it might ask you for your company's email. And you can go ahead and type in your DOE email account. And I should say that this will only work with PTAs that requested their DOE email account from Esther. Again, if you haven't done that yet, Esther can still get those accounts for you. But I'm pretty sure that
Louis, as of right now, all of there's only 2 that are missing. Everybody else should have a email.
So if you didn't use it for your elections and you still want it, Esther can still help you with that. Now, if you don't have to type in your email address, you can go ahead and click the link on the bottom here that says, I know the company domain. And remember we talked about what our SSO code was? It's NYCDOE. And then you see .zoom.us is already here at the end. And you're just gonna go ahead and click continue. Is our SSO, click continue. And it's gonna bring me on to the Department of Education single sign-on screen. I'm gonna log in with my account and type in my password. You're going to notice that I'm not typing in the whole at schools part. So you're just going to put your PTA, the beginning of your email address, and you're going to go ahead and put your current password. Once you click sign in, it's going to throw you back to Zoom. And you should see a pop-up window that says, do you want to open the Zoom program? You're going to say allow. And the same thing will happen on your if you're using a Windows computer as well, or a mobile device. So once you're logged into the Zoom client, on the top right-hand corner, you're gonna see your initials, or you're gonna see your account's icon. And I just want everyone to take a moment and go ahead and click on that icon, because next to your name, or your school's PTA name, you should see the word licensed. If you see anything else other than licensed, or if you see the word basic, you're not logged in properly. So if you see basic there, go ahead and just log out and follow the steps to log in using SSO. Okay, so you really want to see, does everyone see the word license there? Okay. Are there any questions about this so far? Okay. So that is the first thing, just how to log in properly. Now, once you're logged in and you want to go ahead and schedule a meeting that's going to be used for people outside the DOE, you're going to go ahead and click the schedule button. You're going to give your meeting a name. You're going to choose your date and your time, whatever it's going to be. Now, when you create a meeting using your DOE Zoom account, we must use passcodes and we must use the waiting room. There's lots of options that are going to be grayed out to you because the Department of Education has chosen these settings for us. The passcode will be generated for you automatically. I like to use the date of the meeting just because I can think about it without thinking about it. So 2020-11-16 would be today. Or sometimes when I'm having meetings for just 25, I'll do 252525. Just something that is easy for you to remember, and you can tell people that as well. Now at the bottom, when you click on the Advanced Options button, you're going to see under Advanced Options this checkbox that says only authenticated users can join. Okay, if you leave this checkbox checked, only people with Department of Education accounts will be able to join your meeting, and that's a security feature that we use when we use Zoom with our students. So all you have to do is uncheck this box, and now anyone can join your meeting. They will go into the waiting room for you to be admitted. But other than that, no one will be blocked regardless of how they join. If they have an account, what account it is, they will be able to join your meeting. When you're ready, you can just go ahead and click on Save. And you will get your meeting link. You will get your meeting ID, your passcode, all the information you would need to share with families about your meeting. You can go ahead and click the copy invitation. It literally copies it to your clipboard, or you can paste it into an email. You can use it in a flyer, put it on a PTA website, whatever you want to do. Now there's lots of other features that you can do here in Zoom with your DOE account, and I'm gonna put a link into the chat that is a detailed training for NYC DOE Zoom users. It's really, really detailed. It's really long as well, but it goes over all of the features such as using polls and sharing your screen and the whiteboard and all the other security settings that you have. So I'll go ahead and put that into the chat, and just so you have it, and I'll get the link displayed properly. I'll put it again later. I'll fix it later. But the two things I really just want to share with you is how to log in properly using SSO and making sure that you see the word license next to your account name, and also making sure you know how to schedule a meeting and make it not only for authenticated users. Are there any questions about those things? I can also.
The link worked.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So, Louis, this is Frank. I have a question because I did a lot of elections in our district, and I saw some of the problems that we had. One of the there was two that come to mind. One of them was that there's an actual setting that you have to go into the settings and take off only authorized users can enter, because then that won't allow people to come into the meeting.
Sure. So under advanced options, when you're scheduling the meeting, only authenticated users can join. You have to uncheck that.
Yes. So that was one of the things we learned. Another thing is I would recommend that only one person who sets the meeting up goes in through that DOE, because the minute two people go in with this DOE,
yes,
the polls get inactivated. Are you aware of that problem?
Well, even the reason why I'm using my wife's account, if I was to log in with my Zoom account right now, it will tell me, hey, you logged in somewhere else, and it will disconnect me from this meeting. So you want to make sure that only, and Francis is correct, only one person is going to log in with that licensed DOE account at schools, the nyc.gov account, and you can decide who it's going to be. If it's not the president, if the secretary is running scheduling the meetings, whoever's going to be doing it, one person will create the meetings, log in with that account, and then the other people can join with their personal accounts. As long as the DOE account is the one scheduling and holding the meeting, you'll have unlimited time, cloud recording, all the security features, and the other people that are joining with their private accounts can still be made co-hosts and still have all the benefits of a co-host, such as letting people in and all that stuff. So yeah, Fred, that's a great point as well. Make sure that only one person logs in with the DOE account, correct?
Yeah, so at that meeting, I had to end up taking all the votes through private chat.
Oh my God. Oh, I understand. So mess up the poll also.
So we didn't want to have to reschedule because we weren't able to do the poll. But it worked out. And then I just sent Esther the codes and the votes. So she would have, but I would just send the school the tally of just the numbers.
Correct.
Yeah, and then whoever, like you mentioned, you pick one person and everybody else goes in through that other link, and then you can always change them to be co-host or host.
Exactly, yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Anyone have any questions? We're almost.
Any questions about just what we spoke about, or I can even answer questions that are more complicated. Like I said, that long video that I posted in the chat, it's really good, and I think all PTA should take the time to watch it because it goes over all the little the breakout rooms. I mean, these are some things that you guys might not choose to do right away, but those features are there and you can definitely figure out how to use them.
Okay, do we have any questions, comments? You can do it in the chat, raise your hand, or anyone? Well, thank you, Louis.
No problem. Just again, make sure you're logging in properly and make sure you're unchecking that box that Francis talked about.
And just, send us emails if you think of a question later.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Is there a way to change the password?
For your DOE account?
Yes.
Yeah, so you would log in to Office 365. And on the main screen for Office 365, it might be when you click on your icon to go into security or something like that, you would change it. Remember, your email, that's actually an email account. So, and we use Microsoft here in the city. So you would log in through Office 365 with your email address and current password, and then you can choose a new password.
In case you ever forget your password, is there like a retrieval process?
Esther, I don't know.
I can answer. We have that problem now with our DOE for President's Council, and Sharon helped us with that from Face, and they reset our password. So it can be done. I mean, try as best to do it yourself. If not, we can help.
I think Rashmi did it.
So
Right? Rashmi?
yeah, I can help with that. So the way the DOE account password works is if you are not if you have not changed the password within a week or 2 weeks of the time you got the password, then you have to go through your school, because only your school can authenticate you that you are the PTA. So you would just write an email to the principal, and she would have to call the DIT department, and I can actually put the phone number in here so you guys can know. So just ask your principal to email the DIT department. Call this number, and they have to put their DOE ID information and authenticate you, and that's when they will reset the password. That's the only way to reset the password. There's no other way for parents.
Since the email account is not a person, I can reset my account because I enter my last name and last digits of my social, and it authenticates me, and I can reset my own password. But since it's not a person, we do have to go through the help desk or through Face. I'm guessing Face is something similar.
Yeah, but like I said, you can always contact Esther or email us, and we'll help you with that if you can't get that support. Esther has an announcement. Go ahead,
I have
Esther.
a few announcements. I just wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow, District 25 is having a training for Title I in PAC, and they will go ahead. Louis, can you share that flyer with us, please? They're going to go ahead and touch on SLT. I just wanted to make you aware that a citywide training for SLT will be hosted from Face. I think it's Face. It's going to be citywide SLT. The date to be determined. But District 25 will go ahead and host a training tomorrow on Title I and PAC, and they're going to talk about some SLT topics also. And that's tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Louis, let's put the flyer on the chat. Please go ahead and sign up. You could go ahead, and this is a learning curve for all you parents that want to go ahead and learn. If your school is a Title I, even more so. We're encouraging the PAC person, chair and alternate to attend, but anybody could join if you want to go ahead and learn. Please sign up. The next thing on the agenda is the next CEC meeting will be on December 2nd. But before that, we have, you guys will announce the President's Council. But for right now, that's what I have on this end. Tomorrow, I hope to see a lot of you at the training, and tell a friend, tell another parent to join. And other than that, that's it on my end. Oh, just the bylaws. Please go ahead and copy me and President's Council, and we'll go ahead and collect your bylaws. If we were face to face, we would collect them. I would make a notebook, hand it out to President's Council. Then they would go ahead and review, and when they would have if they had any questions or anything, if you had any questions, they had access to your bylaws. Now, since we're virtually, we'll go ahead and make a folder with all our district's bylaws. So if you have access, or if you know your parent coordinator or where your folder is at, you can go ahead and have them scan it to you. And then you could go ahead and share with myself and President's Council, and we'll go ahead and collect those on behalf of District 25 and President's Council. That's it, I think, an announcement that I have. Thank you for letting me share.
The Chancellor's also having a
Oh, that's right, on the 19th.
an info session on Thursday night at 6:30. Flyers will be going out from schools tomorrow and Wednesday. I'll put the link in the chat as well. But he's going to be speaking about blended and remote learning, maybe some comments about the transition to blended learning for some students on November 30th. So I think it's some, I'll be watching it. So.
Yeah. So again, I just want to tell all new parent leaders, Remember that the DOE website is available and has all the answers you could possibly think of. And you can also go to the parent leader. You can also go to, hold on a second, I had it right here and now it's disappeared. When you go to the DOE website and you go ahead and log in, you could type it in Google Department of Education, but the address, the address is schools with an S, nyc.gov. That will bring you to the Department of Education website. In that, you will have all the information you need to know about the Department of Education. Please go to the tab where it says Get Involved. Right in the middle of the page, it says Enrollment, School Year, Learning, School Life, Get Involved. Click on Get Involved and you will hit Families. Once you hit Families, it's going to take you to a page. It's going to talk about Parent-Teacher Conference, Family Empowerment. Go to Parent and Teacher Associations. And that's where you will find everything you need to know about PA and PTAs, the forms that you need. Everything will be on that page. So just get familiar with that website so you can know the answers. If you don't have a copy of A660 at any of your meetings, you just click on there, go down there, and you'll see a link to Chancellor's Regulation A660. If you're SLT bylaws are there, the Chancellor's Regulation for SLT. So get familiar with that webpage. The Department of Education website, because it has a lot of great information. And if you need help navigating or you need to find something, call me up and we'll walk it together.
Thank you, Esther. Rashmi, for some reason, my flyer is not coming up and I don't want to have to relaunch my computer because then I might get lost. Can you just share the next President's Council date?
Sure, just give me a
Thank
second. I closed everything.
I also added the dates to the website, d25.nyc/pc.
Okay.
So they're on there as well.
So just so you know, the President's Council has a link that you could find, and that's the same link for every meeting. And you know that President's Council, their meetings are every third Monday of the month. Rashmi's going to share the date with you, but it's the same link. Just in case you don't, that way you can know that you always go to the website that Louis runs for us, and it has all the information there too. And if you want to go to a CEC meeting, you don't have the link, just go onto that website and you'll find the tab for CEC. You'll find the tab for President's Council. Anything within our school district, it's going to be there. Louis maintains that. And so you're more than welcome to check that out too. Sorry, Rashmi.
No, I like it.
Okay, so
okay, can you guys see it? Okay, this is the one.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice. So that's your email. Make a note of it, people. D25pc1@gmail.com. So I guess it's District 25 President's Council #1@gmail.com.
Yes.
Yay. Yep.
Yay.
I was going to do a present board to show my awesome graphics, but some reason I can't log in now.
These are days 6:30 to 8:30. We're a little over time. I want to thank everyone for coming. We appreciate you as parent leaders, as parent volunteers, and please know that we're here to support you. You have our email, you have Esther's email, and like I said, we're going to work through this pandemic together, and we're going to support our schools and our districts. So thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you and have a great night.
We'll stick around for the people that are too shy just for a few minutes after the meeting. Everybody else, thank you for being here. Good luck, stay safe, and a happy Thanksgiving. No matter how you celebrate it, just remember these are different times, and we should all be grateful for what we have. And our safety is most important at this time. So we'll stick around for the people that are done. You could go ahead and check out. And thank you for being here. For all of those of you who have questions, we're here. We'll help you out. We'll answer your questions.
Thank you.
Hey, Dr. Mike.
Thank you.
Sure.
Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike.